Welcome back, movie buffs, cage heads, and gas station dick pill aficionados, to another episode of the Nick Cage Fight podcast, where we're not reviewing a movie this time. We are doing a ranking episode where we're forced to pick winners when I'm mostly just concerned that everyone had a good time. I'm one of your hosts, Josh, joined as always by Rich and Ryan. How are we doing today?
Just carrying around a bunch of gas station dick pills in case I ever run into Dan Crenshaw so I can fuck his eye hole.
All right, I like that.
I can't top that, so cool.
Yeah, you
Very cool.
should have gone last, Rich.
Yeah.
God damn.
I don't know, like I was at the gym earlier, and like 3/4 of Fox News viewership is just being on at the gym. And they were doing their culture war bullshit, and I saw Dan Crenshaw, and I forgot that he only has one eye.
Yeah, he looks like a Metal Gear Solid villain.
And it just sent me down a rabbit hole, and that rabbit hole ended with, I wonder how that eye feels around a dick.
That, by the way, sorry, Ryan, I think we talked about this off air. I watched that Asian horror film that is basically like the Garth Ennis crossed comic series, but in movie form.
Yeah,
there's definitely an eye hole fucking scene.
Oh shit! Film. Okay, now I've got to see it.
It's way over the top. This movie, I do recommend it to you, Ryan, specifically. Reader or listeners, please, please consider who I'm recommending this to before you guys go out and check it out.
Consider with your own discretion.
Exactly. This is a particular brand of horror film. Anyway, that's funny.
Anyway, so first thing I'm going to do is I am going to run through the list of added movies from last time. So from the last ranking episode, we are adding Kick-Ass, Humanity Bureau, City of Angels, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Sunny, Firebirds, Season of the Witch, Pay the Ghost, Raising Arizona, Running with the Devil, and The Old Way.
It's funny, when I was trying to slot these guys in, I realized this run of films was a pretty decent microcosm of what we've done thus far. You have legitimate good films, completely middle of the road films, and some real stinkers.
Yeah, they were spread pretty far out in my my rankings as well.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
I agree. I think let me take a look at my rankings real quick, because I think I have 2 of these in my top 10 now. There's 1 and there's 2. Yeah, I have 2 of these in my top 10, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in my bottom 10.
Yeah. Also, by the way, because we're working with a shared spreadsheet on this. If you're talking about yours, you can just go ahead and click that little arrow and filter so you can get it in numerical order. It's currently set to mine because I'm just
the most important. It's okay.
No, I don't consider other people my day-to-day actions. So feel free to resort as you're talking about it. But I am seeing a lot of similarities, at least in like our top 5 choices. There is some deviation. In fact, I'm the odd man out. I actually don't know where. Okay, I can see where the choices were made there, but we can go through our top 5 individually first, and then scream at each other for incorrect opinions.
Well, yeah, because for me and Josh, our 1, 2, and 3 are exactly the same, and Ryan, you're not far off. Your 1 and 2 are exactly the same, and then our 3 is your 6, which is still very respectable.
Yeah, 1 and 2 is just the objectively correct choice. Anything else would have devolved into murder.
Right.
Yeah, and no, I do agree with that.
And with that being said, dear listener, this is 1A and 1B. You can put these in any rank you want, and I would have no argument.
Yeah, I'm much the same way. They could either, they're pretty interchangeable in terms of quality.
Yeah, honestly, ranking them in linear fashion, we might be doing ourselves a little bit of a disservice here, because I think there should be ties potentially.
Well, I think once we get into like the 44, 55, 66, we might be better served doing like a tier list.
Yeah, I was thinking much the same thing.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, we could at least post that on the fucking Twitter account. Just do
Yeah.
or do it
That
on a live stream,
we
not
do it
for
on a
nothing.
live stream. We could
Yeah.
YouTube it for that sweet content because we have a YouTube page now that I just upload all the podcasts to.
Mm.
Oh, nice. I gotta subscribe.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I'm gonna subscribe as well.
Yeah, it just automatically posts them. So
Okay, so all right, you want to just dive right in? I'll shout out my top 5. You guys can yell at me, and then we'll trade the speaking Excel spreadsheet and go from there.
yeah, go ahead.
All right, so number 1, Moonstruck, objectively as close to a perfect film as we have run into in this exercise of ours so far. I don't think that's really able to be argued with too much. My number 2 is Raising Arizona. Yes, I am biased towards Coen Brother films in general, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of pushback amongst us here and amongst movie buffs sort of in general on that one. My rank 3 is Rumblefish because I'm giving it extra points because of how artsy it was, just sort of in general. Number 4, Vampire's Kiss. And number 5, I had Snake Eyes, which I am reconsidering because I have Snake Eyes ranked higher than Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, but that is
Oh yeah, that's just wrong.
I on a personal opinion level, I agree 100%. On an overall film level, I disagree with it just because Snake Eyes is still wild while being slightly more coherent, in my opinion.
That's fair.
Bad Lieutenant took some risks. I do think that makes it maybe a better movie as far as my personal opinion is concerned, but I am trying my best to be objective here. So yes, I like Bad Lieutenant more, but I think Snake Eyes might have more mass appeal.
I think our ranking ethoses are a little different because I definitely just did my favorite movies.
Well, that's good. I'm just trying to temper some of my worst impulses when it comes.
Oh, I'm not. Zandalee is way high.
I'm trying to find a good balance of movies that I enjoyed versus movies that I think other people will enjoy. As for my top 5, I'm in a. Like I said, we all agree with the 1 and 2. It's Moonstruck and Raising Arizona. It's 1A and 1B. You can interchange those, and I would not be mad. Number 3, I am also agreeing with Josh with Rumblefish. It is the most artsy. It is the only Coppola film that we've watched so far, or that he's been in. I think was there another Coppola film?
Cotton Club.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that was a Coppola. I'll double check real quick though.
Okay. A very strong film, should have been much better appreciated than it was at the time. Number 4, I'm shocked to see that this is outside of both of your top 10 is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I thought it was a very good, it is kind of messy. There's parts that didn't age well, but overall it's just kind of a funny popcorn kickback, and you got nothing else to do on a Friday night. You can watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Do you want our pushback on that now, or do you want to finish your top 5 and then get pushback?
I'll finish my top 5. I have one more left,
right,
then I'll take my pushback.
Oh, I did confirm Cotton Club is a Coppola joint, and that does have Nick Cage and for Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh,
I think we mentioned that on the Running with the Devil episode.
Yeah,
that
we
was
did.
One of their other collaborations.
My number 5, I have this ranked the highest. This is a just for me movie. Was Kill Chain. I think
That's fair. You do like Kill Chain a lot.
I enjoyed Kill Chain more than you two. Now, going off of both of your rankings, it's pretty high up, but I'm the only one with it in the top 5. I think it was a movie made for me. It was stupid action happening all over the place. It was funny and witty at times. It had a narrative where just glancing at it, it makes no sense. But if you sit down and think about it for 4 minutes, it makes total sense, which is just right up my alley. I like to sit and ponder on things.
Yeah, the puzzle pieces fit real well in that when you actually give it the proper due diligence.
Yeah.
And highly entertaining. In fact, I'm not going to quibble at all with Kill Chain hitting top 5. at all. I think that was great, criminally underrated in general as a film. Highly recommend. I think across all of our general rankings. The Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Here's the thing. I think it was a fantastic film for when it came out. I think it would have hit a top 5 just in general, in genre lists or must watch movies. I think the aging hit it a little bit, which is why it didn't make mine personally. I still think it was a good flick, but also, at least in the context of this podcast, just not enough Cage. Not enough Cage.
That's exactly why it's a little lower on mine too. It's not a Cage movie.
It's not a Cage movie, and it does, in the global warming sunlight of 2023, does have some flaws that are relatively apparent. But again, I'm not saying it's not a good film. It's a good film. It's just it didn't make my cut for the cream of the crop here. So
I mean, if this was a Forrest Whitaker podcast, it would be higher for me.
Agree entirely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in agreement there.
So no, that's just minor pushback, and also accolades for having the chutzpah to throw Kill Chain in there, because I do think that's a dark horse pick for the top 5, and I think they can go all the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got a little bit of March Madness brain.
That's fine. I've been passively watching it.
I work in an office, and I'm not, as has been said on this podcast before, I'm not a sports guy, but I do March Madness every year. So there's a little bit of research that I do, and I put together, my pick for the office pool, and I'm probably going to goddamn lose again, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I just hope all the teams have a good time.
That was my approach to the movie ranking.
Yeah.
I'm just glad everybody had fun, which is why Old Way is ranked so low.
Yeah, nobody had fun.
I mean, it was watchable. It's just not art. Now, all right. So I guess we're rolling into my top 5 now, right?
Yes.
All right. So top 2, Moonstruck, Raising Arizona. No contest. They're 2 of the best films we've watched so far. They are near to perfect as anything we have watched so far.
Agreed.
So my number 3 is going to be Vampire's Kiss. I love that movie so much. It's
very enjoyable, very hilarious.
It's not a horror movie. It's not a comedy. It's something completely different, and I love it for that.
It took a lot of risks and still managed to not tank its critical reception. You got to fucking respect a move like that. You really do.
Absolutely. Plus, a completely unhinged accent that he's rocking the entire movie. Talking to a log next to a building as he's just completely disheveled. Love it.
The inspiration pulled from what, German silent films or something like
German
that.
Expressionism.
Yeah, that's all cool and weird and art. I agree with that pick entirely.
All right, number 4, I got Between Worlds.
There you go.
Well, we knew it was going to be there. We knew it was going to be there.
It's been there since last time. It wasn't going to move. I love it.
Yeah.
And then for number 5, I've got Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans.
No notes. I think Josh and I both have it at 6.
Yeah.
So like that's fine. That movie goes way harder than it has basically any right to.
It's the only movie I've ever seen where a character has a lucky crack pipe.
I really wish that Nick Cage hung dong in that, though.
I was expecting it. It was a Herzog.
Especially like towards the end when he's in like full hunchback mode.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, I now I feel a little bit bad. I feel like my top 5 was really orthodox starch shirt, and I feel like a bit of a fraud. Not gonna lie.
No, you had Snake Eyes, which like we both kind of have more towards, like, it's not mid, but like we both have a little bit further down.
Yeah, no, I agree. I honestly I don't regret its inclusion, but it wasn't like a personal favorite pick. It was just, I think, objectively, as far as what it was up against, and maybe some of the weirder elements that they tried to put in, it stood up as far as what I thought a broad appeal would be.
Right.
It is what it is. Also, on top of that, Snake Eyes set in our home Sleaze City.
Yeah, that movie
It,
is a hometown hero. You got to give it points for that.
exactly. But you know what you also have to give credit to? Companies that offer products and services in exchange for money.
I like
Uh,
money.
yeah, no, I agree entirely. So let's
I can't believe
see.
you like money too.
It's so weird. What a coincidence. What are you doing later? Uh, so let's see what weird smattering of ads we get this time based on the dumb shit that we say. Because I got to admit that has been one of the more fun experiences of doing a podcast is seeing what the algorithm is like. Oh yeah, no, the people who listen to this dog shit are gonna love going to BYU, enlisting in the army and visiting Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I don't know how that's our market slice, but there you go.
Look, I just can't wait until we get our first ad for gas station dick pills.
It's
You don't have to advertise excellence.
it's so weird that I know we've been talking about it recently, and I know we might be divorced to some extent from the zeitgeist, but gas station dick pills have been popping up in like pop culture references just in my personal life to
Same.
such a high degree since we started talking about it.
Like
So
that,
weird.
like that picture that like went viral
Yes.
on Twitter. That was like, "This is my breakfast," and it was like Mountain Dew smoking hot Cheetos.
Yeah, it was Mountain Dew smoking hot Cheetos, gas station, specifically the Rhino dick pills that we reference.
Yes.
That last 9 days.
And the other thing, because first of all, 20 different people sent that to my phone the day that went viral.
Of
But
course.
the other item that was on the counter
Twin
is
Rhino 69 is the name of the dick pill. Let's give it the full full title.
shout out, sponsor us.
We will take that sponsorship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I will not use your product.
Yeah, we'll write the ad read for that and it will be amazing. I guarantee you. But no, the other product is some weird, I guess it's some new weird thing is like energy honey or something. It's a packet of honey, but it's not the kind you put in your tea. As far as I can tell, I'm a little bit outside of what this trend is.
So you just like slurp it down?
Sort of, but that was the other item in that picture. It's just a pack of honey.
That makes more sense that it's just 3 weird things.
Yes.
Because like I thought it was a blunt wrap, to be perfectly honest with you. Like it looked like it had the packaging of what looked like a blunt wrap to me.
You know what's funny enough is it might have something to do with that because I've seen people roll up blunts and use honey as an adhesive.
Don't do that. It's real bad for you. It crystallizes when it burns and it can fuck up your lungs. That's your disclaimer.
Fair enough. I mean, smoking in general is going to fuck up your lungs, but yeah, why make it worse? It reminds me of my all right, let's let the ads play and then we'll continue this discourse because I think we're getting into something pretty interesting here.
Oh, apparently that honey has an active ingredient that's in Viagra. That's what that's about.
Sorry, okay. So yeah, no, like because I've seen again, it's clearly the surveillance state being used to drive ad algorithms is working because I very just recently started seeing like videos and tweets of people buying tons of these and just slurping them down like on
Jesus.
video as a thing.
Yeah, I'm on the FDA's website right now, and they're advising not to purchase because it'll give you a rock hard cock.
That just sounds like a ringing endorsement as opposed to a warning. God damn.
Sorry, I'm back.
No worries. We were just solving the honey mystery.
Yeah, apparently it has one of the active ingredients of Viagra in it. The
What?
FDA, yeah, the FDA says don't buy it, don't eat it.
Oh,
So
please
combining
tell me
that-
we've been recording this whole time.
Yes, we
have,
have.
so you're
Perfect. Okay, good.
Whoever is cutting this episode is going to have a lot of fun figuring out what snippets to pull from the off-air ad break to insert
Hell
in.
yeah.
I mean,
But
I'm just gonna make the ad break wider and have that as content, and then do a little trimmy trim.
But and now I appreciate even more the picture that person sent out. They were literally just drinking a Flaming Hot Cheetos Mountain Dew and using that to wash down 2 separate dick hardening supplements.
What is that person getting into that day? Like, that is some interesting shit.
He needed a boner that was going to pierce chainmail, is what was going on.
I mean, he's gonna piss fire. This Flaming Hot Mountain Dew is terrible.
That I don't understand adding that into that.
I mean, I drank it. I did it to myself. It was not pleasant.
Is it just spicy soda?
It's just spicy soda. Add a little rum to it. It's not good.
Yeah, you got to mix it with the jalapeno infused tequila.
Oh,
or like some Fireball
tequila
or something.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
Shit, that's a good enough idea. I might do that to myself again.
Oh, good Lord.
I've never seen Flaming Hot Mountain Dew.
It exists. You can get it at the law.
Yeah, no, honestly, now that picture is a whole separate context for me. Now that I think about it, I'm just like, his poor wife.
You think that man has a wife?
Maybe I don't know. His poor girlfriend, whoever is getting jabbed.
The poor sex worker he's seeing in 4 hours.
His poor fleshlight.
Getting jabbed with a double hard dick and just getting spicy shots in you. Not good.
Like his poor whatever, his poor fleshlight, his poor hand, like something's getting fucking destroyed.
No, the outcome of that diet is gonna melt through any silicone toy you have. I'm just telling you right now. That is not advisable.
All right, let's talk bottom 5.
No, wait. Let's talk about the ones that didn't make the top 5 cut, I think, because I think we want to save the bottom 5, because we've got a lot of once we get deep enough into the crust of what we have reviewed so far, I think the bottom 5 is going to be more, not specifically controversial, but we're going to have a lot more to yell about.
Okay,
I think the main difference is just going to be the order that those bottom 5
let's talk about one that I just noticed, because I'm like, why is this movie so high up? And I wanted to see who was sorting it, and it was Ryan.
Is it Zandali or Firebirds?
No. Zandali, I'm fine with you having as high as you do. I have it made.
There's a pervert exception.
Yeah. Like,
yes. Yeah. Listen, it has its charm.
It does. It also it's got Joey Pants. It's got some really unhinged Cage in it.
Let's talk about Firebirds here.
I loved it. I found it incredibly entertaining. I'm going to buy the DVD.
Josh has it at 24. I have it at 25. Ryan has the audacity to have this thing at 8.
At 8
rules
with a 3.75 out of 5. That was a middle of the road movie.
I really liked it.
In a world where Top Gun exists.
Okay, I think Top Gun sucks, though. I think this is a better movie than Top Gun.
I will side with Ryan on the Top Gun opinion. I can't defend your rank 8 of all the movies we've watched to put Firebirds there, dude.
It's my dark horse.
It is.
Oh, it's a dark horse, all right.
Yeah.
It is a Top Gun knockoff through and through. But what about that movie stood out of the middle of the pack to you?
I mean, I really liked all the miniature work in it. I thought the special effects were fun. Tommy Lee Jones eats some ice cream all weird.
I mean, that is charming.
All right. It's a very charming film.
There is pantyhose on his head.
That man's got panties on his head.
Yeah. All right. It has some flavor. I'll give you that. It has some spice. But top 10 spice? It's bold, dude. That's very bold.
I don't know. Something about it spoke to me.
I'm checking now to see if I have anything in my top 10 that is egregious.
Yeah.
Wait, how do I'm hitting the button and it's just sort by color.
No. You can do
sort
that.
A to Z. I got you.
There you go.
Oh, perfect. Let me take a look. I mean, I don't think I have anything egregious. No, No, I don't. Let's
I
take a
mean,
look
you
at
do have
Josh's to
you
see
do
if
have
we can
8 millimeter
yell.
way higher than I was expecting based on our last ranking episode.
So, okay, 8 millimeter was one of those where I kind of thought about it. And also, you have to remember is that as we add movies, we are basically adding to the Cage verse.
Yeah.
So not only are we getting different appreciations of Nick Cage in general, we're getting different appreciations of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Where, if I had, for example, let's say that I had only seen 5 Nick Cage movies, and those 5 movies were Moonstruck, Raising Arizona, Con Air, Face Off, and 8 millimeter. I'm gonna fucking hate 8 millimeter.
You left out one of the Holy Trinity, but
I did, but I only had 5. I only had 5. But if those 5 movies were 8 millimeter, Next, City of Angels, Pay the Ghost, and Sunny,
Good
I'm
Lord.
gonna love 8 millimeter.
That
Yes.
is very fair.
So I think that this go around, we watched kind of a lot of shit. Like I said, there were 5 movies that hit my bottom 10
Yeah.
in this group of 11, and it kind of just pushed 8 millimeter up, and it also pushed adaptation down for me. I kind of got enough people screaming into my void that stop liking adaptation so much that I actually did go back and rewatch it. And I was like, okay, this movie's good, but it's not, top 5 or top 10 or anything. Did I?
It's
I
like
was-
top 10?
bottom third for me.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
if
I
we're
ranked it
gonna talk about
15.
adaptation real quick. I respect the fuck out of Ryan putting it at 23 because everybody knows my objections to that film, and I still have it ranked the highest out of all of us. At
Yeah,
13.
mine took a drop. I think I dropped mine from 7 or 8.
I just don't like
So
Charlie
15.
Kaufman movies, with the exception of Being John Malkovich, which is insane.
Well,
I
it
think-
is insane.
Yeah, that movie's insane. I like that. I
And-
don't like anything else he's done.
I'm gonna agree with you on the Being John Malkovich. I love Being John Malkovich. I thought adaptation was just 2 hours of a writer jerking himself off, and I don't appreciate that.
I do appreciate the Cage performance, and I think that is what kind of buoyed it for me.
Yeah, same.
Is that he was very good playing a super neurotic Kaufman, but then was also very good at playing a super confident twin brother.
Yeah.
And he just did a lot of things that I really enjoyed. While that movie was not very good upon I think for me it was a third watch. God damn, he really should have gotten an Academy Award for that movie. He destroyed that thing.
I mean, what won that year? I'm actually curious enough. I'm going to look it up.
I think I looked it up and I don't remember having any issues with it, but I could be wrong because it's been a while. I think it was 2000 or 2001, just as a heads up to make things go a little bit faster.
Yeah, again, like I said,
Fucking Denzel won for Training Day that year. That is
Okay.
man.
No.
No. KJ getting better than Denzel in Training Day.
Agreed. But yeah, no, I think adaptation is a little overhyped in general.
Yeah, there's far better diamonds in the rough that's better than adaptation. Literally look at
Firebirds.
some of the movies that shut up, not Firebirds. But some movies that we have ranked higher that a lot of people haven't seen, that I haven't seen, that I haven't never heard of before doing this podcast. Such as Bad Lieutenant, Kill Chain, Between Worlds. All of those movies are infinitely better.
Yeah,
Kiss
flat
of
out,
Death.
not enough people have seen Between Worlds. That is a podcast stance, 100%.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
we all agree with
no.
that.
So
I've increased it by at least 6 people. I've shown 6 people that movie.
I was talking to somebody and now I cannot remember who it was. I was talking to my sibling the other day who is currently recovering from surgery, and them and their partner had asked me what movies you recommend. I'm like, I do a Nick Cage podcast. These are gonna be Nick Cage movies. But I'm gonna recommend 2 to you that you need to watch because they are fucking bangers. And they were direct to DVD, so you don't think they're gonna be good, but they're fucking great. And it was Kill Chain and Between Worlds.
Fully endorse.
Have not gotten feedback yet, but I'm gonna text them over the weekend and be like, did you watch those movies because you need to?
Yeah,
No,
no.
I don't even know
If
where
they,
you can find Between Worlds right now other than buying the Blu-ray.
I will drop it into a Google Drive for them.
I'll give them my Amazon Prime login if they need it to watch it because I purchased that film. digitally, like
I
I did with
purchased it physically.
yeah. Well, I mean,
I
that's
put up the
fair.
Black Flag. Although I think I probably should purchase it physically because, like, everybody in that film deserves my money.
Yeah, I put up the Black Flag first and then decided they deserve my money.
Yeah, no, they absolutely, them and the people who made Kill Change, both of them deserve my money. 100%.
I tried to find, I was hoping they made a full fake book of those memoirs, and they did not, unfortunately, because I would have bought that. That would be on my shelf right now,
Absolutely.
without a doubt. Absolutely. Full agree on that.
Let's see if there's any other egregious things happening.
I don't know. I
No,
do think
no,
it's
I mean,
still.
the only thing that I saw is on Ryan's list, which we have already excused, which is Zandali being so high. But, like, we've already excused that. That's fine.
Yeah, no, there's a pervert exception.
Yes.
It's perfectly fine to have that in your tip top as a weird pervert flick. It as far as
Cocaine
an
finger blast, man.
yeah, as far as an erotic thriller is concerned, that is not a genre that I would personally delve too deep into, but at least this one had a vision that they were going for and stuck with it. I didn't hate Zandali by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, Judge Reinhold's great in it too. It's got a lot to love.
Judge is fantastic in it, but also Judge Reinhold is just a good actor.
That is true, yeah.
All right, so you know what? Here's a question that I am going to pose to the two of you, and I'll answer this as well. If you had to recommend 3 Nick Cage movies to someone, a random person, and it cannot be Between Worlds.
Okay, out of what we've ranked so far, or
Out
in
of what we
general?
have ranked so
Okay.
far, that is not in your top 5, and it is not Between Worlds.
Okay, not in the top 5. Ooh.
Correct.
Okay.
Like, I want to hear your shit that, like, I really wish I could have put this higher because I really enjoyed it, but we watched a lot of just good movies.
I mean, I'd throw Snake Eyes in there. That's not my top 5, but that's one I would definitely recommend. I'd say the same for Rumblefish, and probably Season of the Witch too. I was surprised how much I enjoyed that one.
That was actually going to be my first one. I say was like Season of the Witch. I would probably recommend Sunny just because of how batshit it is.
I would not put another person through that movie.
I wouldn't recommend Sunny.
Okay, I would recommend the 5-minute acid yellow scene then.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a very different conversation.
If we're just talking recommending single Nick Cage scenes, that might be top of the barrel.
I will. I'll take this opportunity to bring up a film that I have ranked higher than you guys. In general, it hit my top 10. It did not hit either of your top 10. I do think it's underrated. But Kiss of Death.
Yeah, Kiss of Death it's very good. The only thing that really holds it back for me is what's his name? David Caruso.
Caruso, yeah.
You don't like Caruso, although I do think you hate on him a little bit because I know they were shoehorning him into an action flick, but he did do
the speaking roles. Yeah.
The cerebral badass portion of the story. I think he did great, which makes a total sense when you think about his inclusion in CSI and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Him as a smart badass makes a lot more sense than him as a physical badass, but they had enough scenes of him like jockeying with the DA or talking himself out of situations with like the gangsters to the point where his performance did not kill that film for me, and we got an amazing unhinged Cage performance in it.
Yeah, I was
and fun Samuel L. Jackson too.
True,
it is a good Samuel L. Jackson, but the Nick Cage of it, I think that just the things that he does in that movie.
He does a sexy dance with the fern. It's great.
He does a sexy dance with the fern.
It's not a sexy dance. It is a sad dance. It is my dad just died and I am crying and dancing with a plant.
But it's still sexy. He has a weird tank top.
He throws a guy out of a truck.
He professional wrestling moves somebody out of a Mack truck cab. He has the tank top with a weird speed holes for his ribs.
It's so he can go faster. So he can bench press more strippers.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I honestly I think that's a bit of an underrated film. I've chronically ranked it higher than you guys in general. I
That's
know,
fair. It's not that far off for me though. I got it at like 14. I think you have it
I
at
have it
10.
at 12.
Okay.
and Rich hates Caruso more than you, Ryan. So it's kind of funny, but I do think it's a really strong film of the ones that we've watched. Because if you were going to ask me what three Nick Cage films I recommend to anybody, it'd be the Holy Trinity without exception, 100% of the time. Thankfully, though, because of TNT and other basic cable channels, all of those films play all the time. So there's really no excuse for missing them. Kiss of Death would be one of my check it out. You're not gonna have a bad time, watching it.
Yeah, if there was if I could recommend one that wasn't in the ranking so far, it would probably be Bringing Out the Dead. But we'll get to how much I love that movie when we actually review it.
I'm really excited for that to pop up in the in the list for us to go over because not for nothing, like we set out on this project as a lark, but I'm actually learning a lot. It's only about Nick Cage movies, but it counts. It counts as an accumulation of knowledge. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think for me, it'd be like Gone in 60 Seconds. That to me has been the most like pure fun movie that we have watched.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, and like I said, in an alternate universe, we would have had Gone in 59 seconds, Gone in 58 seconds, and just we'd be at Gone in 50 seconds because we're at Fast 10.
in an alternate universe, Gone in 60 Seconds would have been picked up for the franchise instead of Fast and the Furious.
Yeah,
Or are you
it's
picturing a
very similar.
universe where they exist side by side as franchises?
No, I'm picturing a universe where only one gets it,
Okay.
but in this universe, Gone in 60 Seconds gets it. Because in the first, they're not exactly the same, but there's parallels. Like
Yeah,
the
they
one
both
is
have
about
cars.
stealing cars, the one is about racing cars, but like it's still like fast cars go room.
Fast cars
Police,
do go room.
there's police on their tail.
Rich,
Yeah,
I will say this. I want to live in your universe where Gone in 60 Seconds was picked up instead of Fast and the Furious, because that means we would have, in the universe where Gone in 60 Seconds took off instead of Fast and the Furious, we would have had 15 Riddick films at this point, and that's the world
Ooh.
I want to live in.
That is the correct
yeah.
world. That is the
There
best
would have
of
been a
all
lot
possible
more Riddick
worlds.
films.
Fucking Voltaire wrote about that shit in Candide. Best of all possible worlds.
But
Yeah, no, I agree, because Vin Diesel would have had to sink his teeth into that character a bit more, and we would have had, like I said, 11 or 12 more films. I can't remember what the Riddick ones are up to, though we are counting the video game. We've already established
Absolutely,
if
yeah.
that counts.
I want them to make more of the fucking animated Riddick stuff. Dark Fury rules.
Oh, yeah. Dark Fury cashed in on the whole like Animatrix. I think it was Animatrix who set it off, right? So Animatrix had a bunch of vignettes and different animation styles based in the Matrix universe. And then you had Dark Fury, which was the Riddick version of that, which, if I'm not mistaken, had a number of vignettes. It wasn't just one contiguous story.
No, it was one story, and it was animated by Peter Chung, the guy that did Aeon Flux.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for some reason I've been lumping Dark Fury in with Animatrix and that Batman.
Oh yeah. I liked that Batman one quite a bit, and the Animatrix one's great. That's got some Shinichiro Watanabe animated sequence in it. That's really good.
I unironically, I loved the shit out of the Animatrix. I loved I think it was called Gotham Knight, where
Yeah,
they
I
had
think so.
like 5 different animation style Batman stories. And for whatever reason, I lumped Dark Fury in with that. Maybe it was the spirit of it, even though it wasn't a collection of vignettes. But yeah, 100%. But yeah, no, Kiss of Death, Gone in 60 Seconds, even Season of the Witch, not bad recommendations, I think,
No.
in general.
So we need to cut to an ad break because check out what just happened over here at my place. So my partner bought new fat tires for her Jeep for beach reasons. They got delivered to the wrong address, so we have to go pick up 4 tires down the street.
You Amazon bought tires?
No, it was from like an actual tire place,
Okay.
but it was their like specialty. So now I got to do that. So yeah, If y'all want to start the next section of the episode without me, I will figure it out, but I got to go pick up some fat tires.
You go pick up those fat tires. Ryan and I will continue talking in general, and whoever cuts this episode can pick the best parts out of it.
Hell
I
yeah.
mean, it's gonna be me. I'm gonna cut the episode.
Sorry.
So,
I apologize in advance, Ryan, but at least you and I get to have a fun conversation in the meantime.
it's all
All right,
good.
here's some dick pills, everyone.
And we're back. A little bit of parting the curtain. When we go to ad break and we need the silence in the audio, all of us do a jig to a interlude tune. Mine is the Jeopardy, Final Jeopardy one. Personally, Ryan, what do you use?
I don't. I just bob
Just
my
head
head
empty,
back and
no
forth.
thoughts, you
Head
just bop
empty, not
around.
a single thought.
That's natural rhythm, baby. I don't have it. I have to go with the little jingle tune personally.
I mean, it would probably be Heart of Glass by Blondie if I was actually thinking about it, but I'm not. So
Ooh,
it's
see
not.
now you've ruined it. You've planted the what is it? You've planted the seed in my head. Now it's going to be Heart of Glass, which is a song I haven't thought about in quite some time.
Love Blondie. Love Debbie Harry.
There you go. Yeah, no, let's just keep going with this in general. So you and I are pretty close on our ranking of 8mm. I know also it's funny. Rich has that ranked highest out of the three of us, and
That's
I know
so weird.
because he hates so much on the Schumacher rewrites, undarkening it a little bit for a better critical reception. But I always thought, and his overall ranking reinforces this, that it doesn't bother him that much. Clearly,
Yeah.
it's a good dark flick. You got young Joaquin Phoenix playing a cool character. You got that guy who was in everybody with a bad opinion's least favorite season of The Wire as the bad guy. Still a very, very solid flick in general.
Yeah.
You have it ranked the lowest. Is there any particular reason for that, or other just that you think other movies beat the shit out of it overall?
I think other movies beat it a little bit. I mean, it's not even that low for me. It's like
No.
I want to
It's
say
just
11.
outside your top 10.
Yeah, and that's pretty respectable. I think I got it higher than Kiss of Death, which I think is correct. But it's a good movie. Top third easily.
Yeah, I mean, I have it higher than Kiss of Death, and I think I'm Kiss of Death's biggest advocate in general out of us.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to take a peek at our Honeymoon in Vegas versus Valley Girl. Wow, you have those relatively low on your rankings. That's 19 and 20, 19 for Valley Girl, 20 for Honeymoon in Vegas.
I don't like rom-coms.
I don't like
even though Moonstruck is at the top of the barrel, and that's a rom-com.
I think that transcends the general bars set by that genre
Absolutely.
very, very strongly.
It's like the thing with musicals. There are musicals I consider perfect films, but most musicals just fly under my radar easily, or I'm bored to death by them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do want to ask you, because I'm interested in your opinion, why Valley Girl over Honeymoon in Vegas?
I don't know.
They're only one spot off, so that's fine. Like when we introduce like ties, I'm sure that could equalize them in your mind.
Yeah, I think they're roughly at the same spot for me. I don't know. I think Nick Cage was a little more unhinged in Honeymoon in Vegas, but I do appreciate Valley Girl a little bit more, just barely. Like when he's waking up in the sleeping bag on her front lawn. I think that's pretty solid. When he's stealing all those dudes' jobs, that's pretty good.
This stealing other dudes' jobs part, I haven't thought about that too closely, but you're right. That is pretty solid. Honestly, I think it was the aging issue with Valley Girl that made me put Honeymoon in Vegas over it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit more lighthearted as opposed to maybe mean-spirited. I'm not sure if that's the correct criticism, but it's circling it, right?
Yeah, I think Honeymoon in Vegas is more saccharine than Valley Girl, and that might be why Valley Girl edges it out just a little bit for me.
That makes sense. That makes sense to me. I do agree with that. And usually that overly sweet stuff or overly fun ending stuff does hit a little bit harder for me. I
Mhm.
just thought, like the parachuting with the Vegas the Elvises
I found out
was,
that's a real thing. Like they used to do that.
I know it was like that fun element in a honeymoon in Vegas, whereas
Mhm.
basically there's no threats in that movie. It's just a fun, quirky circumstance that has just enough bite to keep you halfway interested. Also, it has Joey roast beef or Joey sandwiches or whatever his
Yeah.
name is in it.
Yeah, James Caan's pretty good in it.
Yeah, James Caan is always solid. And I don't think Valley Girl had quite the same supporting star power.
Not really. No, it has
Yeah.
the girl that voices Tommy Pickles in Rugrats, and that's about it.
Wait, wasn't she the one in? No, you're
Now
right.
that
That was
was
Valley
Valley
Girl.
Girl. Yeah.
I don't know why I wanted to say Fast Times, but you're right. You're right. It was the Tommy Pickles girl. Also,
Yeah.
never
She's
mind.
also what do you call it in Pee Wee's Big Adventure as Dottie.
Yes. I also, by the way, you just
Elizabeth
solved.
Daly. I would have forgotten that. I needed to shout her out.
Yeah, no, you solved the entire mystery for us. You have and I mean absolutely no offense by this, you have the residential pervert rankings, and the voice of Tommy Pickles totally gets topless in Valley Girl. So full respect for your
You know
ranking
what? That
pick
might be
there.
it.
100%, 100%.
Cool.
I don't know. We were pretty close with Running with the Devil. I'm a little bit surprised to see that Rich ranked that higher than either of us. I do respect that. I think Running with the Devil was super close to doing something that would have landed it higher.
Yeah.
There and honestly, I'm at a loss to put my finger on where they lost the plot. I don't know what it was that they did wrong. I don't know what I would advise that they had done differently to
I think it's
score it
the
higher.
editing. I honestly think it might be the editing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they cut away too many times to something that happens too quick for you to really internalize what had just happened. That is a movie, like you said during the episode, that you needed a second watch to really hone in on what was going on. And
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah,
And I
so
think the editing might be the primary aspect on that.
so I just got back from lugging 5 tires to my apartment, but I can weigh in on this. Is watching it now. Neither of you are pro wrestling fans, or at least not like WWE fans.
Now, I'm not a big wrestling fan, but I do appreciate it deeply. But
Not
like,
since I was 16, though I do think that pro wrestling and their theatrics are 100% the key to explaining the 2016 presidential election.
So what I will say is to people who are listening who watch WWE and not necessarily any other pro wrestling is they do this thing where they will do 12 camera cuts in 4 seconds,
mhm.
and it's super jarring and it's kind of hard to see what's happening sometimes. This movie had the same kind of issue with its cuts.
I think that might be why I like New Japan Pro Wrestling better than WWE.
They
I think
use
their
a wide shot.
camera works just better.
Yeah, they tend to use a wide shot and then they have 2 roamers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's what watching this movie was like. There were far too many cuts to make it like a cohesive watch. The first time I watched it, I was fucking lost. The second time was when I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like I had to watch the movie like basically 2.5 times.
I don't know. I like that movie. I don't have it ranked lowest out of the three of us. Ryan does. Rich, you have it ranked the highest. I did like the
Oh, I
message.
enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. Also, not for nothing, Fishburne as the man.
That's why it was
Fishburne-
ranked so high for me,
Yeah.
by the way.
Fishburne has never played a more appropriately named character.
Correct.
And I do like its overall. I think the overall moral is that there is no winner in this particular scenario, and unfortunately, the the moral of the story essentially says that the CIA is right. Like,
Yeah.
take
yeah.
the US's cut for supporting and maintaining a stable criminal element. But I do like that they went for it. I wouldn't. Here's a good question. Running with the Devil, propaganda or no?
Yes, absolutely. I think.
You think it is
Um,
propaganda?
I think it might be.
I don't okay, so I don't know if the people who made the movie know that it's propaganda. I think it's supposed to be.
I
Just going off of, if you remember, we kind of did a little bit of that deep dive as to who made it. Was Patriot Films and the other
yes.
movies they had
Yeah.
made. I think it was meant to be propaganda, but the way that the actress decided to play the FBI agent made it kind of like almost like watching an episode of The Wire, where it's like, oh, there are no good guys. It's just levels of people doing fucked up shit to get by.
All right. So here's my counter argument. I don't think it's propaganda because I think with the conclusion of the story, the conclusion of the plot is a law enforcement officer losing faith in the institution of the justice system and going full vigilante, which
I
is
don't I don't know if that's what the writer perceived what they were doing as, though. I think it might be one of those situations where the dude writing it thought, "Oh, why don't the cops just shoot the bad guys all the time?"
okay, fair. So regardless of intent with the writing, I think the way it ended, because I do think if they weren't if they were intending to go full propaganda with it, I think they are dumb
I think they
because
missed the mark if that was the
Yeah.
plan.
yes, because they have the agent go full vigilante and murdering one of the elements of the supply chain, and then our post-credit scene is just showing that literally nothing has stopped or even slowed down, which is a point that's reinforced multiple times through the story, where the people who are fucking with the chain just get killed and replaced and the machine moves on. So maybe the intent was to be propaganda. I do think the finished product was anti that specifically. Regardless of what target they were aiming for, they really highlighted the nihilistic elements of any sort of perceived war on drugs. So I don't know. It was one of those movies where I was like, if this was done just a little bit differently in a way I can't put my finger on, it would be ranked higher.
Yeah, and then
That's fair.
there's one more movie I want to talk about because it's a movie from when we were younger. I can't remember if it came out when we were maybe late teens or early 20s, but I remember this movie being better, and we all ranked it pretty low, which was Kick Ass.
Yeah. The comic book's better.
Right, but I remember the movie being like, oh, okay, this is good. Do you think it was like has been the evolution of comic book movies and what we expect them to be versus what this is? Do you think it's something else? Because I think all of us are kind of in agreement that outside of a few examples, the modern comic book movie is just not very good.
I think I was pretty lukewarm on Kick-Ass when it came out, though. So I
Okay.
don't know if I had a very positive reflection on that to begin with. I remember it feeling a little ham-fisted, but I do still like Cage's performance in it quite a bit.
I have it ranked highest out of the three of us. That still comes in at an 18 for me, a 22 for Rich, and a 21 for Ryan. I read the comics before I saw the movie itself, and essentially what I think of it as personally is a sophomore version of Watchmen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think that there was anything explicitly wrong with the movie itself. I think if you wanted to make it a more hard hitting critique, Kick Ass gets murdered by the mob. But, overall, as far as its general performance as a film, I think it's real middle of the road, which puts it middle of the pack. And I think that's relatively fair given what we've watched so far.
I think my biggest problem with it is that the dialogue is really clunky and very much of its time. And
yeah,
it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, it didn't particularly age well, and also I think what kind of did it for me too is I think I've watched like the new Batman like 6 times, and I watched it right before I watched Kick Ass, and I was like, oh, this is really good, and then I watched Kick Ass, I'm like, oh, this is really bad.
Oh, the Pattinson one.
It's so good. I just watched it again like 2 days ago.
I actually haven't gotten around to that yet.
It's fucking so good. So I don't know if you'll like it, just because I know how different our palettes are.
I mean, I love Batman, so I'll
But
probably like it because it's got Batman in it.
There's only 2 action scenes. Everything else is like hard-boiled detective shit.
Ooh, that's my favorite Batman shit,
I mean,
though.
it does try and lean into the world's greatest detective element of the Batman ethos, I guess, that like Nolan sort of drifted away from to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But I do agree with the criticisms that we've all voiced about Kick-Ass. As far as the kitschy dialogue, I think it's a victim of that Whedon-esque quippiness,
Yeah.
which I
see
think
that.
has been a net negative for superhero movies in general, to a certain extent. Really, anything in the sci-fi genre has suffered from Whedon syndrome.
Well, yeah.
To a
So
certain
I mean,
extent.
hindsight being 2020, Firefly might have been the worst thing to happen to sci-fi.
Yeah, okay, I could see that.
Just
there's
because
things I still like about it, but
Oh no,
it definitely
it's the
has
ripple
some
effect.
negative.
I still really like the show, but Josh, it's the ripple effect of us deciding that Josh Wheaton is this this person who is a genius because he wrote Firefly.
Yeah, I agree. Outsized influence on the genres in general, and is overall a disservice to films and stories in general along that track. I
Right.
agree with that.
Because then then he did the first Avengers, which is a fun popcorn flick. I
Yeah.
have no issues with the first Avengers, but then like he just started smelling his own farts.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. As far as the top tier and runner-ups, I think we've done a good job covering those to a pretty good extent. I'm ready to talk about the stinkers. We'll do that in the next episode. We're just gonna shit on a bunch of movies. So if this upbeat, redeeming quality of film bullshit is not for you, skip. Well, I mean, you've gotten to the end of this episode. But if that is what you're looking for, is a more hard-boiled critique of bad films and filmmaking and what we think qualifies for that, tune in for the next time. While you're waiting for that episode to drop, follow us on social media. You can find us on Twitter at cagefight_pod. We also have a Patreon I've been hearing great things about.
I did
hear
not
we're supposed to
plug that
review
once.
the Wrestler very, very soon.
Yeah, that's definitely happening soon. Patreon.com/Nick Cage Fight. Also, for people who listened to the last ranking episode and are wondering when we're doing the unhinged part, the unhinged list really didn't change.
Nah.
There was nothing real unhinged happening in these 11 movies. The most unhinged I can think of is like Nick Cage in Kick-Ass getting burnt to death and screaming instructions. And I don't think that cracks a top 5.
It doesn't.
Nah.
I mean, we got weird unhinged circumstances, panties on the head with Firebirds and stuff like that, but that doesn't quite count as an unhinged performance.
No, yeah, none of these were unhinged. The only thing that I could maybe make a case for is like maybe The Old Way because everyone has autism. But
that's
calling
not
that unhinged
just
is
neurodivergent.
right. Calling that unhinged, not the best thing to do.
We're not going to get canceled.
No, I'm not getting canceled. I'm not getting canceled for The Old Way. So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, like I said, join us next time for the real stinkers and the teardowns of filmmaking. And as always, listener, we appreciate you.